Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Ayu Landari. My student ID is 20524063 and I'm from TUAG Class B. So, in this video, I would like to summarize everything I have learned in the Islamic Studies Methodology course throughout this semesters. Of course, in fourth semester. This course has helped me understand that Islam is not only a religion to be practiced but also a field of knowledge that can be studied systematically, critically, and academically. In this video, I will take you through each meeting, starting from the basic concept of Islamic studies methodology until the discussions of Islamic studies in Western countries, the Muslim world, and Indonesia. So let's begin our learning journey. Well, in the first meeting, we just learned about introduction and then the role of our class. After that, in the second meeting, about introducing to Islamic studies methodology. Our journey began with the introduction to the methodology of Islamic studies. In this meeting, I learned that methodology is a systematic way of studying Islam using scientific methods and academic approaches. The purpose of Islamic studies is not only to increase our religious knowledge but also to help us understand Islam objectively, critically, and comprehensively. We also learned about the importance, scope, and development of Islamic studies as an academic discipline. This meeting became the foundation for understanding all the topics discussed in the following meetings. After understanding how Islam should be studied, the next question was, how did Islamic studies develop throughout history? Well, in the third meeting, the growth and development of Islamic studies, we learned about historical development of Islamic studies. We explored. We learned that Islamic scholarship has evolved from classical period to the modern era. We also discussed the object of Islamic studies, the growth of Islamic in different periods, and the major centers of Islamic learning around the world. This topic showed that Islamic studies has become an important academic discipline studied internationally. Once we understood its historical development, we continued by discussing why religion plays such an important role in human life. In fourth meeting, religion in human life. This meeting explained that religion is an essential part of human life. Religion provides spiritual guidance, moral values, and ethical principles that help people live meaningful lives. Besides strengthening the relationship between humans and gods, religion also encourages harmony and responsibility within society. Since Islam is being one of the world's major religions, then we explored its unique characteristics and dimension. In five meeting about characteristics and dimension of Islamic teachings, during this meeting, I learned that Islam is a comprehensive way of life. Islamic teaching cover faith, worship, morality, and social relationships. This dimension work together to guide Muslims towards personal development and social responsibility. This topic helped me realize that Islam provides guidance for every aspect of life. After understanding Islamic teachings, we learned how religion itself can be studied scientifically. In sixth meeting, about religious research and research of religiosity. This meeting introduced different approaches to religious research. We learned the difference between studying religion itself and studying how people practice religion in society. We also discussed models, several research models used in Islamic studies. This topic showed that religion can be examined using scientific research methods. After learning research methods, we discussed how Islam contributes to universal human values. In seven meetings, about Islam and universal ideas. In this meeting, we explored Islam as an universal religion. We discussed concepts such as justice, peace, mercy, inclusiveness, exclusiveness, and the relationship between Islam and science. I learned that Islam values are relevant not only for Muslims but also for humanity as a whole. After the midterm examination, we returned to the most fundamental research of Islamic teachings. In 9 meeting, sources and characteristic of Islamic teachings. In this meeting, we learned that the Quran and the Sunnah are the primary sources of Islam. These sources provide guidance for worship, ethics, social interaction, and knowledge. Understanding these sources is essential because they become the references for every Islamic teachings. Since the Quran is the primary source, then we learn how scholars interpret its meaning. In 10 meeting models of tafsir research, this meeting focused on Quranic interpretation or tafsir. We discussed the definition, function, backgrounds, and different research models of tafsir. I learned that understanding the Quran requires proper methods so that its messages can be interpreted accurately. Beside the Quran, Muslims also follow the teachings of Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him through the Hadith. In 11 meeting about models and Hadith research. In this meeting, we studied about Hadith research. We learned how scholars examine the authenticity and meaning of Hadith before applying it in Islamic teaching. This process ensures that Islamic knowledge remains reliable and trustworthy. However, not every modern issue is directly mentioned in the Quran or Hadith. Well, in 11 meeting about ijtihad as a method of Islamic studies, therefore we learned about ijtihad. Of course, ijtihad is the process of independent reasoning used by qualified scholars to solve new problems based on Islamic principles. It allows Islam to remain relevant while preserving its fundamental things. To strengthen our understanding, we also explored different approaches to Islamic thinking. And in the 30 meeting about Bayani, Irfani, and Burhani approaches, this meeting introduced three approaches to Islamic thoughts. The first, Bayani, focuses on textual interpretation. The second is Irfani, emphasizes intuition and spiritual experience. And the third is Burhani, relies on logic and rational thinking. Together, these approaches enrich the study of Islam from different perspectives. After understanding these approaches, we discuss how Islam responds to today's world. In 14th meeting, for the last about contemporary Islam, this meeting explained that the challenges faced by Muslims in the modern era. We discuss globalization, technological development, social change, and the uh, practical application of Islamic values in contemporary society. I learned that Islam continues to provide guidance and despite rapid global change. Finally, we concluded our course by exploring Islamic studies in the different parts of the world. In the 15 meetings about Islamic studies in the West, Muslim world, and Indonesia, in our final meeting, we compared the development of Islamic studies in Western countries, the Muslim world, and Indonesia. Each religion has its own historical background, educational tradition, and research approaches. However, they all share the same goal to understand Islam through systematic, objective, and academic study. This final topic completes our understanding of Islamic studies as a global academic discipline. Well, if I looking back on this course, I realized that Islamic studies is much more than learning religious teachings. It is about understanding Islam through scientific methods, critical thinking, historical perspective, and academic research. Throughout this semester, every topic was connected, starting from the methodology, the development of Islamic studies, research methods, sources of Islamic teachings, different approaches to Islamic thoughts, and finally, the global development of Islamic studies. This course has broadened my perspective and strengthened my understanding that Islam is a comprehensive religion that remains relevant in every place and every era. Well, I think it's enough for me. Thank you for watching my presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.